give them the chance. I'm saying Mr. Speaker should still give the chance. Oh, Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking for Mr. Speaker. Let him know that, Mr. Speaker, Kwame is still behaving as if he's in opposition. He's heckling. You are not in government. Oblige me. I signal Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker wants me to say it for the record. All I'm saying is that though they will approach the table office, but at least they should have the chance to clear their throat. You have more members who are first-timers. If you don't want them to clear their throat, whilst you are serving at the ministry, they won't have the courage to come into the chamber. So they should break the ice today. Mr. Speaker, you give them the chance. Today is their day. It's their day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think that the minority leader is seeking opportunity to send a signal to the leadership of his party that he has started work. Because the point he's making is absolutely needless. So thank you. We've acknowledged the fact that you've started work. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, let me speak to corroborate what the respected minority leader said. Speaker, if you check our new standing order, one of the wisdom behind the establishment of a day for backbenchers is to ensure that our colleagues backbench and those who are coming to this house for the first time will have the opportunity. Mutala, I know you want to announce that you should be considered for ministerial. We have seen you. We have seen you. Will you resume your seat? Please resume your seat. Speaker, so not to belabor the matter. Actually, not to belabor the matter, what the leader said, Speaker, is very reasonable and will offer a good opportunity for our colleagues who are in the house for the first time to break the ice and to clear their throat. In any case, you still have more of your colleagues who are coming to the chamber for the first time. But just to sound a note of caution to my good friend, the Honorable Mutala, I know you either want to attract the attention of the president to join the executive, or you want to stage a coup against Honorable Agoja. I don't know which one is which. So, Speaker, I think we should allow our colleagues to express themselves and also to break the ice.
Yes, honorable members, I think I've given you enough time to break the ice, to clear your throat, to give notice that you are working, and also notice that you'll be given ministerial appointment. That is enough. Let's proceed now to page 5. Page 5. Page 6. Yes, page 6.
Mr. Speaker, for your guidance on page 4 and 5, item 127, the honorable member for Kariga. I noticed that many of the names have titles attached to it, like Dr. Alaji. But in the case of 127, I'm aware he is doctor, it's not attached. And when you come to page 5, item 197, the honorable member for Winchi, there is Alaji attached to it. And then 201, that is my good self. I am also an Alaji. But for consistency, for consistency, Mr. Speaker, for consistency, if we get, so that we can be consistent with this, if titles are to be attached to names, then those titles are attached. But if titles are not supposed to be attached, then we all know. But the case that some people will have the title Alaji or Doctor, whilst others are also in our professional field have those qualifications, I think you should guide us on this, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Mr. Speaker, May I take the opportunity to draw our attention to item 2110. The constituency there is Kwewu Afram Plains North. Kwewu Afram Plains North. But it is captured the Kwewu Afram Plains. And Kwewu Afram Plains has Kwewu Afram Plains North and Kwewu Afram Plains South. May I bring the Speaker's attention to that correction, sir? Thank you. Page 6, item 2110. 210, please.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to apologize for not bringing this to your attention early. I plead with you to take you back to page 2, item number 38. My name is misarranged. It is rather Bafo Ewua Nana Ejei, and not Ewua Nana Ejei. My surname is the Bafo Ewua. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, my name now appears at number 218 as Mahama Ayariga. Mr. Speaker, all these years, the Hansard and the votes and proceedings have captured me as Ayariga Mahama. I actually tried to correct it the first night because I saw it written and I was looking for it. It wasn't in its usual place. So I tried to correct them, but I still see it being captured that way.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on page 3, I wanted to catch your attention on page 3, but unfortunately, it passed. But on page 3, number 81, my name is Mahama Tia Abdul Kabiru. Mahama is my surname, Tia is my middle name, and Abdul Kabiru is my first name. However, on the table office captures my name as Kabiru Mahama Abdul Taya, which is a total different rendition and different order. The name is Mahama Tia Abdul Kabiru, and I want the table office to capture it as such. Mahama is my surname. Thank you.
I thought we've gone over this matter. I did advise members to approach the table office to cross-check what came from the Electoral Commission. The rate of election is the one that arranged your names, and the table office took advantage of that. So please, if there's any problem with the order of the arrangement of your names, kindly approach the table office after the sitting. The other comments are well noted, and the table office will proceed to do the right thing. So are we done with page 6? We can now move to page 7. Page 7. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. It's a related matter to what you have just said, but the Ghana Medical and Dental Council realized that there are too many doctors' titles. And for the medical doctors, we are now referred to as Dr. Med to differentiate the titles. So we would also approach the table office, the medical doctors here, to add the Dr. Med so that it differentiates our title from the PhD doctors. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I have heard the honorable member for DBI, but the information is not coming from proper source, and so we cannot take notice of that. He is not the authority to communicate that information to us. So we have heard you. Unfortunately, we can't take notice of what you shared with us. It will come from the proper source, and they will do so. Page 7.
I'm grateful, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, at page 7, item number 5, the rates of elections from the Electoral Commission. I note that the table office did not indicate the date they received. The clerk told us that he received a number of rates, so they did not arrive the same day from our understanding. And I will have thought that for the record, this being a house of records, the dates will have been stated, but we don't have that here. Because he indicated that there were a number of rates from the Electoral Commission on the 7th December 2024 elections. But we don't get that sense the way it has been captured at paragraph 5.
Honourable Member, those details are in the official reports. Votes and proceedings reflect a summary of what happened that day. So you can get the dates, because as you acknowledged, there are a number of rates that were submitted to the clerk to Parliament. Apart from the general one, we had rates per constituency, and they came at different times. And so we received, as at now, 274. We are yet waiting for the rest. To complete the number, one came but had an injunction. And so that's why I added it to the other one that hasn't reached the office yet. So we still have 2 that are outstanding. Well, I'm reminded that one came, he was registered, but there was an injunction served later on. And as a result of that, that member has been registered. And so in terms of rates, only one hasn't been received by the clerk to Parliament. Yes, is there any other concern? Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. On page 7, Mr. Speaker, I just went through the list. We have 275 names captured, and I've also realized that members have taken time to correct some names. But this is just a humble reminder to my friends on the majority bench. I can count 61 absentees from your side. This is just the first day. This is just the first day. So
Honorable Minority Leader, relevance.
Yes.
Relevance.
Just day one.
Relevance.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Relevance.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I agree. Mr. Speaker, allow me. Mr. Speaker, the role of the opposition is to scrutinize and to bring to attention certain key matters that are of concern. I am saying that this is just the first day, and this side is your back. It's not ours. All over, you have 61 absentees, just day one. 61 absentees from the majority. Day one, 61. You have 61 appointees. I'm just bringing to attention. So you encourage your members to come. We are full. Mr. Speaker, look at our back. Mr. Speaker, look behind me. This is a strong minority. Look behind me. We are solid. You have 61. Look at all the seats empty. Here, all these places are for you. All over. Mr. Speaker, I'm helping them. That is all. I'm helping them.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thought the former majority leader that has been reduced to a minority leader will be talking about whether there is a quorum to do business. You know, proudly, I want to tell him, even with the so-called 61 that he claims are absent, we have enough members to do business and quite frankly, to beat you if we want to. So, I can tell you that we are so fortified that we can afford to have 61 members having a meeting outside and continue to do business in this house. That is how solid we are.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I don't know which spirit is worrying the minority leader. But Mr. Speaker, for your information, 28 MPs from the Greater Accra are in a meeting now. We've just said that they should come. But Mr. Speaker, the minority leader should know that when you were doing the recall, he was even not here. So he's just trying to he is trying to behave like the Honorable K.T. Hammond.
Honorable members, it's part of the duty of leaders to assist the Speaker to maintain law and order in the House. So, first-timers, please don't go by these interjections. It's not part of good practice. And so what I'll do is to start sanctioning the leaders from the very beginning so that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. I'm sure you will support that. Nobody wants to be repeating mistakes. You want to do better than you did yesterday. So please, let's continue that. May we now move to page 8. But there's one issue outstanding. It differs from parliament to parliament as to how you want to be referred to. If you want to be called Alhaji Chief Sheikh, Doctor, and then we add any, that is what the House will accept. But usually it reflects the culture and practice of the society in which you live. And so, Ghana, we are not known to be taking too many titles, but at least one is recognized because of the addition it makes to your value. So to refer to somebody as Alhaji, Habib, Idris, that is not too much to ask for. So I will be guided by the decision of the House so that I can direct the table office to capture it properly. Do you want us to add Alhajis? Do you want us to add reverends? Do you want us? Alhaji Idrisu, Haruna doesn't want Alhaji to be added. I'm reading the body language. Yes. So do we add the Alhajis? Do we add the reverends? Do we add the apostles? Do we add the sheikhs? Do we add the malams? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know that some make it as part of their names. They even go to swear affidavits to change and add it as part of their name. For those, Mr. Speaker, I think it will be proper to add it. But for those of us who have opted not to necessarily add it, maybe we should leave it as a choice. If the individual wants to add it, then they should indicate that to the table. And those who do not, then we'll leave it out. Because if you are not careful, then the titles alone will take additional pages of the vote and proceedings. But I think that, in fairness, those who may want to have it, if someone is a reverend and he feels very strong about it and he's been adding it to his name, he should indicate, then we'll refer to the person as that. And if somebody is a professor and he or she wants it added to their names because it's part of their records, I think it will be fair. Because, Mr. as you may know, today, the way we improve the workings of Parliament, people watch it all over the world. And you go to the website of Parliament and you can fetch all the names. So if people have made it as part of their official records and we don't add it, then someone is looking for example, you, Mr. Speaker, I know you were honored with a PhD, but if I decided not to add it. But if you had added it and someone goes to the records and then sees that it's not part of it, that may create problem for investors. So I think that, Mr. Speaker, we should allow those who may want to add it because either they've added to their records or they want it to be part of their name to indicate, instead of maybe doing it generally to say everyone to be added or everyone should be taken out. I thought this may be a very good suggestion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. You pressed the wrong knob.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sorry to bring you back to page 7, item 6. The Speaker, flowing from...
Are you addressing the issue on the table now?
Yeah, sure.
We haven't concluded on that issue.
No, I think... Okay. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I take a call from you.
Yes, I saw the honorable member for West Central on his feet. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I imagine we were going to deal with page 8, but as it is...
Please, honorable members, I refer the issue back to you. Some may even raise issues of human rights. And that is why I say it depends on what you say. Then we'll capture that. And so if you have sworn an oath that you want to be referred to as Professor, Alhaji, Imam, so and so, comrade, that is you. We will refer to you as such. And so it's right to say that you have to officially inform us, apart from what you have submitted to the Electoral Commission. Because what you refer to in the forms you filed with the Electoral Commission is what was captured in the writ or I should say on the rate of election. And that is what we will follow here. But you have the opportunity to make the necessary corrections and do them legally so that we can refer to that. Very soon, we'll be dealing with paperless. And so we will not have all this rubbish before us. This is part of pollution of our environment. So let's move on with the votes and proceedings. And now I will call the gentleman who wanted to draw attention to something on page 8. Yes, please. It's been solved.
Sure, it's resolved. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, page 8. Yes, please.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, I rise to seek your guidance on this matter. Speaker, after item number 9, you'll note that from item number 5 to 9 were matters that engaged the House before the substantive motions were carried. I recall that the clerk in charge, the Honorable Ahuma Jitro, informed the House that the political parties have informed the House in respect of the leadership that will lead, the names in terms of leadership that will lead from both sides. But I see that there's no information regarding them, especially because when you get to item number 25, the Honorable Appenyomaki is ascribed with the title Minority Leader, and the Honorable KCL Atufosi is also ascribed with the title Majority Leader. But there's no information regarding when the
That's 27.
So, yes.
Item 27.
Yes. So I think that it should be captured before the issues about the motions were carried. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Member, we've taken note of your issue, but definitely the Hansard will capture it, but we'll consider whether it should be part of the votes and proceedings. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, page 8, item 10, motion. The second paragraph. Right, Honorable Speaker, if you permit me to read. Moved by the member-elect for Ejumaku. The word is, the name of the town is Ejumaku. Ejumaku. Capital A-J-U-M-A-K-O. Ejumaku, and not what has been captured there. And then, as we are debating, the title of my leader is Doctor and not Mr. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Member, thank you so much. But for the name, you know, is the work of Printers Devil. We know that is Ajumako, not Ajuamko. Please take note of the title of Honorable Dr. KCL Atuba Person. Yes, page. Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, still page 8, item 7. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minority Leader is here, and I assume, and I heard him say that the member who was in contention, whose presence here was in contention, he said that the member was aware of the Supreme Court, the writ, and was willing to take the consequence of it, not to say that he was advised. So I think that was what came out strongly, that he was aware and was willing to bear the consequence. And I think it should be properly captured here. Yes. My minority leader, I see how you enjoy being a minority leader.
We will cross-check from the official reports and then do the proper rendition. Page 9. Page 8, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, still on the same issue. I remember very well the minority leader also insisted that the class should give a response to the issue he raised. But it is not captured. The issue was that he wanted him to react. And I'm saying that I expect that at least some headline here to state that there was that reaction, so that if it's missing in the Hansard, we'll be able to trace it. I mean, I've been here for some years now, so I've learned. Okay? Honorable Mutaka is there, the leaders are there, who have been guided, so I know what I'm talking about.
Mr. Speaker, sorry for taking you back to page 4 with your indulgence. Item number 135. The name reads Athenyo Makin Alexander Kwamina. Mr. Speaker, this is the first time I've seen into bracket Osahin. Is that coming from the Electoral Commission, or what is the Osahin? Is that a constituency or a title? I know he's a lawyer. People are adding titles. So what is Osahin? It's the first time I've seen. There's something here, Osahin, into bracket. What is this? Is this a new title, or EC declared that? Or is a new title for describing minority leaders?
Mr. Speaker, when you're doing the registration, you are supposed to fill title, whether Dr., Mr., Alhaji, Professor, etc., etc. Mr. Speaker, if my respected colleague, the Majority Chief Whip, so pleases, I shall produce for the purposes of Hansard the origins of my title, Osahin. It is a title conferred on me by my uncle, the Omahin of Efutu Traditional Council, and I'm to use it, and I prefer to use that title. So I do not think that you should have any problems with it at all. It's been conferred on me, and I am, yes, I'm of that family. He's my uncle, and I'm letting you know, and it was not done in private. It was the traditional council that met, and officially, through custom, it was conferred on me. It is not a chieftaincy title. It is not a chieftaincy title. It is not a chieftaincy title. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues are asking the meaning of Osahin. Mr. Speaker, I shall rest my case. I want to be known not as Mr. I want to be known as Osahin Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Market. That is it, and that is how I filled my form. That is how I filled my form. It is my title, just as some people insist on being called doctor, professor, because it's a title that they have. And Alhaji, they've earned it. In my case, by custom, I have the spiritual things. Oh.
Honorable members, we actually have a lot of work to do today. So please, may we proceed? Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And once again, apologies for taking you back to page 3. I just wanted guidance, page 3, item 75. I need your guidance on this, looking at what was the presidential inauguration document that Parliament prepared. There were 274 members of Parliament. On the day in question, the member opted to bear the consequences. But when Parliament records that member as present in our record, the legal implication to my unlearned mind is that we are condoning what is supposed to be an affront to the courts. So with the presidential one, his name was omitted from it was 274, but here we have 275. And so just to get clarity from you on it.
Honorable member, I like the statement you use. Your unlearned mind. Yes, so leave it for the learned minds to grapple with.
Listen in line 2 after speech raised, in which he thanked the House for the honor done him. Mr. Speaker, like an honorable member said before, I've also been in this house for some time. There's a language, there's a pattern of our language. I think that I should read the Right Honorable Speaker took the chair and delivered his acceptance speech and thanked the House for the honor done him. Humbly submitted, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, honorable member, you are right. I think the table office will take note of that. Page 10. Yes, Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Mr. Speaker, page 10, and I may indulge you further so that I run through what I've come across in the votes and proceedings. Mr. Speaker, first to observe that in this democratic journey, we don't walk alone. I note that in the entire report, the President of the United States, President Biden, sent a very strong delegation to the inauguration led by the Honorable Shalanda DeYoung, Director of the U.S. Office of Management and Budget, Excellency Ambassador Virginia E. Palmer, Honorable Karen Bass, Mayor of Los Angeles, Honorable Francis Z. Brown. Conspicuously lost in our report is a U.S. delegation. Mr. Speaker, even as we practice a democracy, there is a grandfather of the democracy. And Mr. Speaker, I just thought that the U.S. delegation be rightly acknowledged. Mr. Speaker, then page 13, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is recognized as former president of Ghana. Former president of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So former vice president of the Republic probably is better, unless one recognize him, and he can only be recognized in the role as former vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in page 13. Then, Mr. Speaker, this is a plea to you. Mr. Speaker, 7th January is not for nothing that your good self and others thought that we celebrate our constitutionalism. I probably would want to suggest that table guided by you provide much more detail. For instance, Alhaji Osman No Sharabutu, National Chief Imam. Do you want to recognize him just as religious leaders? No. Or the head of the Catholic bishops comes in, Bishop of the Catholic. For some of it, Mr. Speaker, 7th January is not an ordinary day for us, and it will never be an ordinary day for us, so long as we pursue and consolidate our democracy. So I'll make a plea with you that persons like that be given their proper recognition. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, Her Excellency Mrs. Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings have been very consistent in supporting you and supporting this House. She was present. I do not see her being recognized for the purpose of the record. And I thought that, Mr. Speaker, I should draw attention to it. But more importantly, as I said, it's only prudent that the delegation of the United States is recognized accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, you actually have gone beyond the page I mentioned. We're at page 10, and you decided to take us into other pages. But usually, where we sit, we have instructions. And the instructions are in writing. And therefore, you go by what you are giving. You will not be able to identify those present. And so there are officials who do so and submit a list, and we go by that list. I recognize after the ceremony that all the persons you mentioned were present. Even many more were present, but their names were not submitted to me. Either as a result of oversight, you know, the crowd was so huge. And so I can only apologize to them if their names were not mentioned. It was not through any error of me as Speaker, but they were not made available to me. We know how we honor and respect all of them. And I'm sure that as elder statesmen, they understood the situation that confronted us yesterday. But we've taken note of that, and then we will do what is proper in the circumstances. So may we proceed? Are we still at page 10? Okay, let me listen to the leader here.
Mr. Speaker, I'll just limit myself to page 10, the first paragraph, moved by the Honorable Member for Nsawam Edo-Ejiri, Mr. Frank Ano. The last one is R. It's supposed to be a H. So it's H instead of R. But I'm just, Mr. Speaker, surprised that the former minority leader did not also chance that the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was not also acknowledged as he was talking about vice president. So he should check it properly too.
Yes, you were saying something.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, a few more corrections at page 10. Item number 23 IV, the indefatigable chairman of the NDC, the Honourable Johnson Asiedu Nketia. Asiedu has been spelled wrongly. It should be ASIEDU. So if table can correct it accordingly. And then, Mr. Speaker, this is an unpardonable one. Your own constituency has been mutilated. A delegation from Nadoli and Kalio constituencies. It is one constituency. The Right Honourable Speaker acknowledged a delegation from Nadoli Kalio constituency. So, not constituencies. They are not two constituencies. So, Right Honourable Speaker, table office will have to correct that.
Yes, Honourable Member, we've taken note of that, and the table office will do the right thing. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I quite remember you mentioned a delegation from the ECOWAS Parliament led by the Second Deputy Speaker, Her Excellency Tuareg Kubali Ajaratu, but her name was omitted. She was not even accounted for that she was here during your inauguration. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Since we are just updating the list of people you recognize, we had the leader of the delegation of the government of Israel, the Deputy Minister, Foreign Affairs Minister of Israel, Madame Sharon Haskell, so that the records would also bear that. Thank you.
Honourable members, what I'll do is to submit the whole list to the table office so that they could capture them properly. I had a very long list, and at one time I was compelled, because of time constraints, to read them together. And there was a long queue where they came. Even after that, some people approached me to say they did not hear their acknowledgement. And I had to draw their attention to the fact that I had to read them together instead of just one by one. You saw the time we took in trying to invite them to congratulate His Excellency, the President. And so we may, with your kind permission, go for that list and capture all as part of the corrections of this House. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, suffice it to say, what you just said could have corrected some of the corrections that we are going to make. I thought that it's important that, because in the night of the swearing in of your good self, the President of the Pan-African Parliament was also in the chamber here. I thought that it's important that that is also recognized. That's His Excellency Chief Fortune Charumbura, the President of Pan-African Parliament, was both in the chamber and also at the inaugural, grounds. So I'm sure that when you provide the full list, all those will be captured. But I thought that in this case, I needed to mention it because he was both in the chamber and on the ground. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, still on the same page 10. During the first session before the suspension, we had also the General Secretary of the NDC in attendance, and you recognized him accordingly. So I think that it should be captured. But following on to page 24, well, like Sam George, it's unlearned mind. He says the outgoing Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, arrived in the House and took his seat. But Mr. Speaker, if you go to the very first page, it says the House met at 5 minutes after midnight. Meaning by that time, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was a former Vice President. He was not outgoing. He was outgone. So should we be describing him outgoing? Because you were acting president then. So he was outgone, not outgoing. So we should capture it appropriately. As former Vice President took his seat. And it follows same to, well, we haven't reached page 10. But like Honorable Haruna did, the outgoing president, His Excellency, he was also former president at that point, because it was past midnight, and they've all ceased to be presidents. So I think that the record should capture it appropriately. Thank you.
Yes.
Speaker, I think we've gone back and forth on this matter of who was present, who was not present. Just to draw colleagues' attention, if you look at page 10 and item 23, what it does say is recognition of dignitaries. It goes on to list the dignitaries who were present, and I think colleagues have issues, a few issues with that. And I couldn't have agreed more with Honorable Muntaka, because I recall I heard a speaker mention Speaker Charumbiwa's name. But if you proceed further to page 12, item 34, it says, the Speaker invited the following dignitaries to congratulate His Excellency President of the Republic of Ghana. There is a bit of distinction there. The latter speaks to an invitation that was extended by the Speaker to dignitaries who were there to go congratulate the president. So we shouldn't mix the two. I think there is a distinction. And the Speaker has given overarching directive that we should relate to table of office if there are more concerns and deal with this matter. Speaker, thank you.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, still on the same page 10, I note that at item 23, at the conclusion, it says that sitting suspended at 2:32 a.m. Now, on the face of this document, it's votes and proceedings. Now, on the same page 10, it says that sitting is suspended at 2:32 a.m. Now, when you come to item 26, then you have sitting resumed at 10:45 a.m. at the Independence Square, Accra, Right Honorable Speaker in the chair. So my concern is that if sitting is suspended at 2:32 a.m. and until 10:45 a.m., what has accounted for item 24, 25, and 26 in this votes and proceedings? And that is something that I think we have to look at. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, I believe it's a learning process. And so you get to understand as we go along. The arrivals are recognized. And people arrive before we resume. So we suspended at this time. Then we are to reconvene before we resume sitting. And so during that period, there are arrivals. And some of these dignitaries are being recognized to have arrived at this time. That is what is captured there. And so there is no problem with the sequence and the timing. By the time that I called the House to order so that proceedings will resume is what is referred to as 10:45 a.m. So there's nothing wrong with it. But as I said, as we go along, there are more of those things that we'll all learn together. Please, page 11. Page 12, page 11. Yes, please.
Speaker, I was rather going to page 10. I was going to raise something on page 10.
Yes, page 10.
The last item, 24. Item number 24.
Yes.
The spelling of the former vice president. I think the name is Mahamudu, but I've seen it as Mahamadu, and that has also been repeated also in page 13. I don't know if we can take notice of that as well. It's Mahamudu Bawumia, not Mahamadu.
Well, Honourable Member, I think you are right. It will be captured properly. Yes, please.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. On page 12, Paul Kagame. Kagame is spelled incorrectly.
We are going to page 11. Page 11 now.
Oh.
Page 11.
Okay. All right. And thank you very much.
Please, now you can go on page 12.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. 34, Roman numeral I. And then II. We have Paul Kagame, H.E. Paul Kagame. Kagame is misspelled. It should be K-A-G-A-M-E. Not
Yes, you are right. Table office, take note. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, since this is a House of Record, the same page, 12, item 34, Roman number 111, III. The name is Fori Isozima Nyasingbe. Fori Isozima Nyasingbe. Then XVI. The title is His Excellency Brigadier General, retired. He's not just a brigadier, but he was a brigadier general, retired Julius Madawuni Bio. The Wuni is spelled W-O-N-I-E Bio. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, a couple of corrections. Item number 34, sub IV. Patrice Talon, the president of Benin, his full name is Patrice Guillaume Atanase Talon. Guillaume spelled Golf Uniform India, Lima Lima Alpha India Mother Echo. Guillaume. Atanase spelled.
Honourable members, I have a problem with what you added to the names. Well, that did not appear on the list I was given. The list I was given is what has been properly captured, apart from spelling, mistakes like Kigami, which definitely is wrong. The rest, you are adding to that list. His Excellency Furi Nasingbe, that was what was given. And then also His Excellency Patrice Talon, that was all what was given. The same for His Excellency Brigadier Julius Mada Bio. There was no Wuni in it. Now you are adding to it. I don't know whether we'll be right in doing so. If I'm to rule on it, I think that will not be right.
Speaker, I cannot challenge your ruling on this matter, but I believe that this being a House of Records, normally you permit that, for instance, where an official name of, especially the heads of state, normally the names are several. They have several names as the full name, the official name. So, where, for instance, for Nasimbe is mentioned or given by our officials to you, the official name for him is that Esozima is the middle name. In the same way, Patrice Talon, the middle name is Guillaume Atanase. You permit that, but I'm guided that if, for the sake of the records, you may not allow that. Let me further go to item number XIII. His Excellency Muhammad Idris Deby Itno. His Deby is spelled D-E-B-Y. There's no R. There's no R in his Deby. It's Deby, D-E-B-Y. Mr. Speaker, there are other names that we may have to address.
The challenge I have is the source of the information. I don't know where you got the authority to be correcting the names of people on the floor of the House.
Okay.
That is my challenge. Okay. And that is why I say what we were given and what was pronounced is what should be captured. I don't think you are the authorized representatives to be correcting the names and tell us official or unofficial names.
Speaker, I'm guided.
Of dignitaries.
Speaker, I'm guided. Speaker, safe to say that these presidents have their official websites in their respective countries.
Please.
So I'm guided.
I can tell you that our late Professor Kofi Abrifa Bougia was known as Joseph Frederick Bosnia. You don't know it. That was his name, Joseph Frederick. And he changed both names to Kofi Abrifa. And that was done legally. He swore an affidavit and went through the process to change his name. Now, you will come later and say that that is not his correct name. And you'll be referring to Joseph Frederick. You don't have that authority. And that's why I'm saying that you don't have the authority from any of them, unless you can show me that this is my authority from this person to change the person's name. You don't have it. And as we said, this is official record. Please, let's be safe. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We are guided, but at least for the title, Brigadier General Madabio is not Brigadier, it's Brigadier General. If you look at that of Prince Oligui Nguema, the title is there, Brigadier General. And everybody knows that Madabio title is not just Brigadier, but Brigadier General, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, on page 12, XVII, I think the name is the same as the one on page 13, XXIII. Page 12 and page 12 and 13.
Honorable members, Brigadier General is the same as Brigadier. It's only people prefer you to say general. So you have brigadier general, you have major general, you have lieutenant general, and you have general. The general is the 4-star. The lieutenant general is the 3-star. The major general is a 2-star. And the brigadier general is the 1-star. Please. I went for an interview to be a military man, so I know that. Yes, in 1977. And many of you were not born. You know, I like the discipline in the military. And so, with that admiration, I decided to join the military and also to train myself to be strong, not weak as I am today. But the university robbed me of that training. So please, let's take it as it is. We're taking note, we'll cross-check from the document that was given to us, and we'll do the writing. So may we go to page 13? Yes, please.
Right, Honourable Speaker, still on page 12, respectfully, if you'll indulge me. At the inauguration yesterday, Right Honourable Speaker, after the special guest address, which has been correctly captured, the special guest, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Adekule Tinubu's goodwill message. I recall, Right Honourable Speaker, that before you invited all the other dignitaries listed here, you did invite the outgone president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to congratulate President John Dramani Mahama. He was the first. He was the first to congratulate President Mahama, he and his spouse. That is conspicuously missing here. And what that has led to is that, Mr. Speaker, if you go through the entire votes and proceedings, you don't see the outgone president's name there as having gone up to congratulate his successor. And I think, Mr. Speaker, that would be a grave error. We need to acknowledge that. You did invite him, and he was the first. He and his spouse, they were the first to congratulate President Mahama. And I'm surprised that that is not captured and is totally missing in the scheme of things.
Yes, Minority Chief Whip. Yes, please.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, item 34, XVII, the name of the head of state of Guinea-Bissau has been repeated at XXIII. So one needs to be expunged. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you are right. Our attention was drawn to that earlier on. You are right. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, page 13, item XXI. We are there.
Yes. I actually mentioned page 13, but I was taken back to page 12.
Okay.
Your issue is what?
Right, Honourable Speaker, a very important matter. The outgone president's acknowledgement going up to congratulate President Mahama on your invitation. We were all there. We were all there. Oh, no, he did. He did. No.
Please. This is not.
No, he was invited.
This is not.
He was invited. We were all there. We were all there, and that is missing. If we are going to be, if we will document other presidents going to congratulate President Mahama, why would we leave out our own president? I don't get it. I mean, I mean, he's certainly not my best friend, but at least for the records, let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing. Yeah, he was invited. Yeah.
Honorable members, this matter is not open to debate. It's a matter of record. So let's leave it at that. Please. No, it's not a closed book. But it's a matter of record. Let's take it as it is. I'm here. I know what happened. Yes, and we know the protocol. We all know the protocol. And so the protocol is what is being followed here. And it's true that we should acknowledge that in our records, his name must appear on the votes and proceedings as having taken opportunity to come and congratulate the president. Please, that is not on record. That is not on record. Yes, any other matter? Yes. Oh. Is stretching. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think mine is on page 13.
Yes.
Item XXI. His Excellency Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo is not the President of Republic of Congo. The President of Republic of Congo is His Excellency Denis Sassou Nguesso. So that correction should be made. Because if you go to page 12, VIII, the correct name there is DR Congo. So the correction should be made. Thank you.
Is DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. That should be noted. Honorable members, page 14. Sorry, yes.
Mr.
Page
Speaker,
14.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, on page 13, Roman numeral 34, the name of the former President, John Agyekum Kufuor, is spelled wrongly. Kufuor is supposed to be Kufuor for the former President Kufuor. But here, we spelled it Kufour.
Yes, table office, the U comes before the O. Thank you. Page 14. Yes, any...
Right, Honourable Speaker, please, at page 13, I was trying to catch your attention. The presidents of a number of countries have been repeated, and we would want to draw the attention of the table office. They are quite, I've heard one being mentioned, but they are more than that. There are about 3 of them. So that if the table office can take notes, that will also affect the numbering. The numbering will change. And then, Mr. Speaker, we need your guidance. There are a number of them who went up to congratulate the president with their spouses. That has not been captured here. I don't know if you want us to leave out their spouses. Mr. Speaker, that is for your guidance. And then, Mr. Speaker, if I'm to come to page 14, since you mentioned page 14, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, the second entry, foreign, has been captured wrongly. It's been misspelled. So the N at the end of foreign is not there. And then, Speaker, the former president of Germany, a category was created at page 13 for former presidents. I thought that that is the proper placement. So if the table office can look at that. I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I thought we solved this. I said I was going to submit the list to the table office to capture it as it was presented to me. Was I went sequentially according to what I was given. As to the number of people that broke protocol and came up to congratulate His Excellency, they were so numerous that we cannot capture all of them. I mean, I mentioned names, people came with delegations, and we didn't want to cause any scene, so we allowed them. If not, you would have seen some struggles around there, everybody trying to come with even their children to congratulate His Excellency the President. So please, we'll do the proper thing by submitting that list to the table office to be captured. May we proceed? Yes, please.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Page 14, XLI, iterating from the senior member, Honorable Kujoto Abrakwa. In as much as the foreign is spelled wrongly, the main concern is that His Excellency Diego Martinez Bellew is actually the State Secretary for Foreign Affairs and Global Affairs, and not Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs.
We will cross-check from the list that was submitted.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, page 14.
Mr. Speaker, on page 14, 35, I've realized that the name moved by Honorable Majority Leader and member for Ajumako, I seek your guidance. I thought it should be member of Parliament for Ajumako Eyen Ishiam. So I need your guidance on that. Thank you.
Yes, table office. The member insists you should complete it. Member of Parliament for Ajumako. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Page 14, our Majority Speaker, Dr. Cassel Atoban Forsen. The doctor is omitted. And also, my able minority leader has also indicated to us that it is not Mr. Alexander Kwamina Afenyo-Markins, but he will be preferred to be called Osanyene Alexander Kwamina Afenyo-Markins. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Markin.
Honorable members, we had forms given to all of you to indicate your full particulars, the details. And in that form, what we have for the minority leader is what has been captured on the order, the votes and proceedings. So he has put there Osahin. It's not Osahine. It's different pronunciation. It's Osahin. There is no E-hine. No. The gentleman is from Efutu. That is for him to decide whether is Angloman or not Fanti. Fanti is a general description of so many tribes in the central and western region. His tribe is there. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if care is not taken, this house, somebody will come and fill a form that his wife calls him man love. Then that will be added to his name. Somebody's wife will call him man king. Then that will be his title. Then it becomes something like that. So, Mr. Speaker, we have official titles which are recognized officially. And Mr. Speaker, it is for this very reason that even the word honorable became a subject for ruling in our law court. So, if the honorable minority leader can explain, the Speaker, simply because this is a house, this is an august house. If you are giving warrior titles to honorable members, the Speaker, is that the precedent we should set? If the honorable minority that can explain the meaning of that title, because the literal meaning of Osahiri means a warrior, a war leader. So, is it going to turn this micro minority into a war group? Mr. Speaker, I don't think we should go further with this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would want to seek your guidance on this as part of the general issues that we are discussing on the list and attendance. I observed that, and I'm making this point because words in their format carry some special meanings, sometimes for emphasis. And if you look at page 12, 13, you see some of the names are italicized. Some of the leaders who were invited, their names have been italicized, whilst others are of normal font. So I was seeking guidance whether it was a mistake or there was some special purpose or they were intending to serve with the italics. If the italics or the one, but can you allow me, please? Allow me. The font is different. The font is different. Font is different. The font size is different. So I know what I'm talking about. So kindly allow me. Those that have been italicized or fonts with small sizes, whether we can change them, they will all look the same. Or you will get the explanation for the purpose the italics were supposed to serve. So that is the guidance I'm seeking from you, Mr. Speaker. So please, if they are not supposed to carry any special effect, then I would suggest that we keep them with the same font. Consistency is important. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honorable members, this is definitely a secretarial mistake. It will be corrected. But let it be known by all of you that it's part of the duty of the Speaker to protect the micro minority. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, is also part of my duty. Honorable members, honorable members, may we have some calm. The minority leader is on his feet. Let's listen to him. Well, they rose up in support of him. So let's listen to him.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, with respect, I shall, in response to what you just said about your duty to protect the micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the rules of this House provide for the minority and the majority. Mr. Speaker, we do not have any micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the minority caucus hereby protests. Mr. Speaker, we protest the description given to us by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this practice of when we are on our feet, the majority will on the mic, it's not acceptable. Mr. Speaker, it's not acceptable. We are Democrats. You put off my mic. Listen to me. Mr. Speaker, we find this unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, we seconded, the minority seconded your proposal and the motion for your election. Mr. Speaker, when the so-called majority was even conspiring against you, we protested. We stopped them from that conspiracy. Mr. Speaker, it was us, the minority of conscience. This minority is the conscience of this House. Today, the so-called majority could not get its members to come to the House. 61 of you are upset. Mr. Speaker, we don't accept the description micro minority. We are minority. Simplicity. Mr. Speaker, please, kindly, Mr. Speaker, describe us as such. We are the minority. We are not micro minority. I so submit.
Honorable members, this is not subject to debate. Please, this is not subject to debate. Please.
Sit down.
Please. This is not subject to debate. The minority leader, on behalf of the minority caucus, has objected to my describing their caucus as micro-minority caucus. And that this is a term that is unknown to the rules of the House. He is totally right. Honorable members, I will say that he himself misled me because he himself has used the term micro-minority.
Mr. Speaker, you know, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I know you miss your days. You miss your days as
Honorable members, the objection is to the fact that it should not be formally so recognized by the records of Parliament. I agree with you. And so, it should not be used by the Speaker, but it can be used by the leaders.
Mr. Speaker, we are getting the impression, Mr. Speaker, the minority caucus is getting the impression that Mr. Speaker may be assisting the majority. Mr. Speaker, because you seem to be doing their debate for them. We are the official minority. There can't be any other description. And it shouldn't be used by anybody on the floor of this house. You cannot even use that term. It's not only Mr. Speaker. You can't use that term micro-minority. From today, nobody should that term in this house. Nobody should use that term in this house.
Honorable members, the minority leader is saying that I should not protect them. Is that what I'm to understand?
Speaker, we're saying that protect the minority. We are not, Mr. Speaker. You see your man. Mr. Speaker, you see what you are doing to us. Mr. Speaker, we protected you. When they were conspiring, we protected you. So protect us. We are the minority. We protected you. In fact, but for us, you wouldn't be the Speaker. Yes. It's because of our protection. That is why the President-elect had to issue a statement. Yes. We protected Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, please. Let me just hear from you so that I will not be seen to be denying you your right to be heard. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 123, 2A and B. Mr. Speaker, the preamble of my, just on a lighter note, just a few weeks ago, just hold on, just few, Mr. Speaker, just a few weeks ago, my good friend was protesting heavily for being referred to as minority leader. But you were not. But today are you? Mr. Speaker, and the order says that, and I read, a member shall not use offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming words on a member or any other person, or B, impugn improper motives.
Please.
Other person. Mr. Speaker, my colleague suggested that the majority was conspiring against you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have it on record when the minority leader at political functions was describing you in words that can never be used on this floor. And said, Mr. Speaker, that the greatest injustice to Parliament was to elect you as Mr. Speaker. You said that on political platform. Today, a 10-quote minority leader is now pretending he loves you more than the people who actually you belong to. We can tell you this. We can tell you this. We can tell you this. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, and I know you've got the tapes and the videos. But what I will say is that for the fact that he described us as conspiring against you, he must actually withdraw that part of the statement now and apologize to us.
And apologize.
And Mr. Speaker, hold on, Mr. Speaker, he described us as a so-called majority. Look at you this way and look at this. Is this a so-called majority? Do you describe this as a so-called majority? This is a proper majority. And this is, Mr. Speaker, the size of this, let me repeat, the size of this looks like my district assembly. The size of this looks like the size of my district assembly. Do you like that one? Mr. Speaker, he must let me withdraw. This side did not and will never conspire to do anything against you. If the last person, the last group of people who undermine you, Mr. Speaker, will not be this side. If the other people who do it, we can guarantee you will get our support today, you will get our support tomorrow. Because you are doing the right thing. So he must withdraw.
Speaker, I am grateful that you recognize me. Just to share a few words. Speaker, Kwame, so Kwame, are you telling me to sit down? Can you tell me to sit down? A joke. Speaker, you can't tell me to sit down. In this house, it's the rules that we use. You can't tell me to sit down. Get the attention of the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for recognizing me. First of all, the order my colleague quoted, and if you read further, order 1, 2, 3, if you read further, subclause 3, the inherent condition is stated there. It will lie in the mouth of the Speaker to determine if indeed those words were used. I hope you recognize that. Then again, going beyond that, Speaker, going beyond that, I am 4th term in this House. Would you listen to me? Would you listen? Speaker, would you listen to me? Speaker, 4th term in this House. This is the first time. This is the first time, and I'm saying this in context. If you pay attention, you get the context in which I'm speaking to. This is the first time President-elect has to issue a statement, more or less, keeping you to nominate the President, to nominate Speaker for the position of Speakership. Why? And that's very revealing. It was because there were things happening at your backyard. And the President-elect to say, for the leader to say that all was not well at your back, the evidence is all over. And in fact, it took the minority, it took the support and the consent of the minority for us to elect the Speaker. The Speaker, if there is on both sides, Speaker, it should be planning for you not to be elected. So please, don't miss the point. Thank you. Don't miss the point. It took our blessings for the Speaker to be elected. So stop boasting. It took our blessings. Speaker, back to the point. So order 1, 2, 3 should be quoted in whole. My good friend, Honorable Abuja, should quote order 1, 2, 3 in whole. Order 1, 2, 3, subclause 3 is clear. And we don't need to belabor the point. We don't need to mess it up. Speaker, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of records. one doesn't need to quote any order of the standing orders to buttress the point that a statement that should be made on the floor, more so from a leader, should be a statement that is anchored on facts, not conjecture. Kids are watching us. The entire globe is watching us. Most importantly, this is the first sitting of the ninth parliament. Now, if you have the second sitting, if you have a leader of the House who would make statements that are absolutely conjecturing, it's scandalous, to say the least. But, Mr. Speaker, this argument is occasioned by the fact that someone wanted to be called a particular name or added a title which is unknown to the rules and proceedings of this House. And I wanted your guidance that if anybody decides that he wants a particular name to be added or title to be added to his name, everybody knows that I don't want to be identified as honorable. I want to be identified as comrade. And Mr. Speaker, the sixth parliament, I rose here and I said that I didn't want to be addressed as honorable. And then Right Honorable Speaker told me that the identification of members here was honorable. And I remember you called and advised me and made the same point after sitting that the title honorable is title that is given to those who are members of parliament or ministers of state at the time when they are actively performing the function. So if someone, maybe perhaps that warrior title and the actions to support that name was prepared to be unleashed on parliament and the people of this country. But Mr. Speaker, we are still aware that in this House, when we were electing you, they commandeered armed military men into this chamber in violation of the principles of democratic governance. They attacked the speaker. They attacked. Look, I'll be heard anyway. Mr. Speaker, it was an attack. It was an attack on the sanctity. Look, I will make that point anyway. Mr. Speaker, it was an attack on the sanctity of Parliament. It was an attack on the Constitution of Ghana.
Parliament executive. Maybe somebody did. We were not.
Maybe perhaps, Mr. Speaker,
our government
ought to be informed
that no. Should retract that. Sit down. Should retract that. Should retract that.
Mr. Speaker, maybe perhaps they ought to be informed that Parliament and the legislative arm.
Honorable members, please kindly resume your seats. I think we have tested the waters enough. Today is the first sitting. Today is the first sitting of the first session or even first meeting of the first session of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. What happened yesterday was the first meeting. So when you look at the standing orders, it says when the House first meet. And in that meeting, the first person to preside over that meeting is the clerk to Parliament. That meeting is not yet properly constituted Parliament. You are members of Parliament elect, and when you graciously elect a speaker, he comes in as a speaker elect until sworn in by a person who, by virtue of that condition, is present on the floor of the House, just for a ceremony, and that is the Chief Justice. Then the person becomes Speaker. And then the Speaker now swears you in. So our standing orders refer to that as when Parliament first meets. Now, if you go through the standing orders, you see that they describe today as the first sitting. So that's what we have. The second point is that during the era of the military regime, at that time, the head of state was General Ignatius Kutu Achampong. He said, as for rumors, he has no problem with rumors. The problem he has is the mongering. The mongering of the rumors. Now, why? Is it one person mongering the rumors? All of you are mongering rumors. And so a decree was passed against rumor mongering. We are not going to do that in democratic Ghana. And so as you monger your rumors, be sure that the Right Honorable Speaker will take them with a pinch of salt. I know that the term I used was not taken kindly by the minority caucus. And so I acknowledge that. And I decided that it will not be used officially. And so the Right Honorable Speaker, the Right Honorable Speaker will not use the term micro-minority at all in reference to the minority caucus. I recall in the first parliament of the Fourth Republic, the caucus I belonged to at that time was referred to as populous majority. And it was used. Maybe because it was edifying, it was accepted. Today, we will not use a term that is not edifying. So I will not use it. I will not use it. I say I won't use it. Now, yes, so
Mr.
I
Speaker,
said that the minority caucus does not. Honorable members, you don't catch the eye of the speaker by begging the speaker. Please, don't beg me. Do the proper thing and you catch my eye. Please. But let me give my ruling. Please. That is what I'm doing. That is why I started by saying the testing of the waters is enough. We have all tested the waters, the majority, the minority, and the speaker. And that is enough. So we leave it here. We have a lot of work to do today. A lot of work to do today. We have had pre-sitting meetings. The minority leader was not present at the pre-sitting meeting. So his rep was the minority chief whip. and we discussed a number of issues which we will convey to the House, because it's the House that is to take the decisions. So there are key decisions we are to take today. Don't let's use the whole day in correcting votes and proceedings. Please, this is the end of the exchanges, and I'll proceed. I'll proceed to let us end the correction of votes and proceedings. Please. Honorable Member, I just used a phrase, and that phrase was explicit enough. If you conspired at all, you conspired in favor of me. That I know. You don't just conspire against, you also conspire for. Yes, so the word conspiracy is not all negative. There are positive things about conspiracy. Yes, so please, I did state that clearly, that you did not conspire against me. So, we will proceed. We will proceed to do what is right. Please, in the absence of any other corrections, the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 7th January 2025 are hereby adopted as the true record of the proceedings of that day. Honorable members, let's now take item 6. Item 6. Statements. Honorable members, at this sitting, we are expected to, as a House, appoint and compose some committees. And usually, the process is started by the leaders of the House. The first committee that is to be appointed by the House is the Committee of Selection, which by our standing orders is chaired by the Speaker. I specifically refer to Standing Order 205, Rule 1. It says the Committee of Selection shall comprise the Speaker as chairperson, and not more than. There is, in what you have, some error. It's not 14, it's 17 members of Parliament, and not more than 17 members of Parliament. That was the final decision taken by the House. It's 17. And so, using the usual communication channels, I got in touch with the leaders of the two caucuses, and they made proposals, which will form the basis for the House to appoint the members of the committee. We are still talking about majority and minority caucuses because by our rules, we have made provision for a third caucus, and that is the independent caucus. But we decided that to constitute a third force, that is the independent caucus, you needed to have 7 independent members in Parliament. As at now, we have 4. And so the 4 has not met the threshold of 7. My instructions is to the 4 independent members that they have the option to decide which of the caucuses to officially transact business with in the House. They have that option. And that is usually done officially in writing to the Speaker, of Parliament. And I will make it known to the House, and it will be captured by the official records of the House. So as at now, we have only 2 caucuses, the majority and the minority caucuses. And so what I propose is to give the opportunity to the leaders to give an indication as to the composition of the membership of the Committee of Selection. And then I'll proceed to suspend sitting. The committee will meet. We will submit a report to this House. And this House will take the decision as to the membership of the Committee of Selection. After that, the committee will have to immediately convene and discuss and submit to the House for approval the membership of 2 key committees. The Business Committee, because they have from now the duty to start scheduling the business of this House after the business has been admitted by the Speaker. And then also we need to do the same for the Appointments Committee. These are 2 key, I should say 3 key committees that we have to set up today before we decide. And I will make a proposal for you for us to take a bit of rest to allow the authorized officials to put in place the proper arrangement on the floor of the House. Where you are sitting today, they are just borrowed seats for today. The next time you come, you see that your constituency and your name will be on a different seat, which is the properly allocated seat for you. And we have to do all this within a very short period of time so that we could now position ourselves properly to transact parliamentary business and also official government business. That is why I'm pleading with you to let us focus on this important business. The rest, the jabs, the jokes, I think we'll continue as we go along. But this is one family. You may be coming from different mothers, but this is one family. And as the father of the family, I have to treat all of you equally. But you know, as a father, when you see that one child is stronger than the other, definitely you have to always go to the side of the weaker one. That is natural. That is natural. That is natural. And it's not only natural, please kindly read the literature. Read the literature. And it is accepted globally that part of the duties of a speaker is to protect the minority. That is why I accepted. Honorable members, I will be applying the rules rigorously. That is why I accepted his position that the use of the word, which is what he objected to. I accept that one. So please, this is how we do business. We don't fight here. We may lose our tempers, but we are members of the same family. And we should continue that way. Yes, so leadership, can you give us an indication? Is the speaker out of order? Honorable, please, just a minute. Because, you know, the House is such that you have to give people the opportunity to be heard. Yes, Honorable Blackwell.
I'm grateful, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. And Right Honourable Speaker, I would never, ever contemplate you being out of order. I just wanted to seek your guidance under Standing Order 2172. Because of the indication you have given about the crucial committees that have to be set up, the Business Committee and the Appointments Committee. Under our new standing orders, the Appointments Committee has changed, and it now has members from other committees, the relevant subject matter committees. And if I may read with your permission, Standing Order 2172 says that the chairperson and ranking member and two other members of the relevant subject matters standing or select committees shall join the members of the Appointments Committee. So, Mr. Speaker, in that context, I was wondering if we could probably task the committee to probably broaden its scope to look at the other committees as well, because of the indication you gave that they will be focusing on two committees. That's why, because it appears we have a conundrum with the new standard.
There is no conundrum. Please, I chair the Standing Orders Committee, and I was there throughout with the lawyers, and we discussed this thing thoroughly. That has been factored into what I just communicated. But we have a spine of the Appointments Committee, and as and when necessary, you bring in the leadership of the other select committees. So we factored that into what we're going to do. There's no problem at all with that. So leaders, let's hear you. Then let me listen to the former chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, since this is my first time getting up, may I congratulate you on your election. Mr. Speaker, you just referred us to Order 205, and you corrected the 14 members of Parliament stated to 17. Mr. Speaker, even though I was a member of the Standing Committee, in all honesty, I don't have the recollection as you have. And since you chaired that, I don't have any reason to doubt whatever you have said. But my question is that how do we go ahead if we should find these mistakes? We are just privileged to have you in the chair, you that chaired the Standing Orders Committee, to be in the chair. Otherwise, this may end up in controversy. So I seek your direction, Mr. Speaker, as to how we'll go about it going forward if we should encounter such typos. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you want to respond to him? Okay.
Speaker, Thank you. I tried to catch your attention earlier because my colleague will bear me out that we are privileged to have sat in a number of meetings that are relevant to the discussion before the House, even before my friend Ablakwa raised same matter. And let me say that maybe it's by providence that our colleagues are also being kept in leadership. Because ever since we adopted the new standing order, we realized that per our numbers, minority then, I think the 8th Parliament, there was a need for us to relate to you. And I might commend you highly how you guided us. Myself and the then minority leader, Honorable Governors, we took it upon ourselves to get staff and concerns sanitized. So back and forth, there were instances that we added a number of membership to the already agreed members of the various committees, just to get the balancing right. Yes. So back and forth, Speaker, you guided us. We came on the floor. This motion was moved and adopted. And so you realize that even the printed standing order, there are a number of mistakes in it that had to be corrected. So if you pick the Hansard, so today at the conclave, I indicated to the acting clerk that ran this thing together with the chief whips, because we were present and we recall exactly what happened. And Hansard will also bear us out. We have to do this and sort this thing out, otherwise we can't constitute the committees. And firstly, as you rightly directed, we have to deal with the committee of selection. Now, we have at least agreed with the ratio of the composition of the committees for the 9th Parliament. Myself and the Chief Whip have agreed on the ratio. What is critical is that the selection committee chaired by the Speaker have to be constituted. Once that is constituted, then we look at other critical committees that need to be constituted. For instance, the appointment committee and the business committee. So here we are. The only challenge we have is that we have to deal with the mistakes that have already been recorded. And the standing order has been printed. My senior colleague rightly observed. So together with the acting clerk and the whips, we can sit and address all these concerns and get these 3 critical committees constituted. And then, Ablakwa, you also mentioned about the subject matter committee membership who have to be quoted to join the appointment committee. That is why, in the wisdom of the Speaker said that, I'm taking the wind out of your sail, you will grant us a week of break. When we come back, then we will. Then we don't have a problem of who a subject matter committee is that has to be co-opted to the appointment committee. So I think the matters are clear. We have a defined and clarity on how we should approach this matter. And Chief Whip will bear me out. So first thing first, let's deal with the selection committee. Because you directed, we suspend sitting, go and handle and constitute the business committee and the appointment committee. And we get it also approved, and then we can proceed. And then subsequently, we can constitute all the other committees. But essentially, the ratio has been agreed. Everybody knows. The Chief Whip knows. I should mention what I won't mention. You know it. Speak to your Chief Whip. Your Chief Whip will direct you. So I think we are clear, and we can proceed.
Yes, please, honorable members, we really took time to discuss this in conclave. And then all the issues you are raising were considered. But because as a house, we'll be able to generate a lot of interest of our people in what we do. And so we're going through this process for the first time for people to hear and get to know how we do our business. And that is why I'm allowing you to make inputs. It's very important, not only for our edification and education, but for advocacy purposes. Our people have to go with us and understand what we do. And so we're going to do this because this is the first time we got copies, printed copies of the standing orders of the House. And definitely there are some errors. These are to be corrected through administrative instructions because you have the official records in the Hansard, which they are going to go through in detail now and edit the errors and make sure that the decisions that were taken by the House are truly captured in the standing orders. So that we discuss with the clerk and his staff at the table. So that will be done. The first thing we have to do now is to put in place this composition of the Committee of Selection. As the minority chief whip just stated, he together with his colleague, the majority chief whip, agreed on the formula. And the formula, as we have now, is 183 versus 88, right? That is what was used in the composition, and that's what we'll go with. If there are changes in the future, that will be factored into. That is what is done in our practice and procedure. So please, let's listen to them to give us an indication of the membership of the committee so that we can meet and report back to the House. Yes, Honorable Suhuyini.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I also wish to seek further clarification based on what you just said in relation to the numbers in the House. You earlier made the point that the only way an independent member can join a caucus is by writing to the Speaker. And as things stand now, you don't seem to have that indication. And just a while ago, you made the point about the composition, 183 to 86. Okay, I wanted to drop 4 because they are contentious. But Mr. Speaker, the point I seek to get clarification from you is, what will happen after the indication of the independent members to you as to the caucus they want to be with? Will that change, or would that inform the formula that will be used to compose these committees? Thank you.
I'm sure, yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I just noticed he's asked a question. Maybe, I don't know if you want to respond to that first. Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the opportunity for us to do this now. Yes, indeed, the 4 colleagues of ours who are in this House as independent members of Parliament, indeed, communicated to our caucus to caucus with us in doing business on the floor. When we met you at Conclave, you guided us that, yes, that is communication to your caucus. But for the records to be clear in Parliament, that communication needs to come to you officially. Unfortunately, when we left the Conclave, we came to the floor. So indeed, we are going to communicate to the 4 of our colleagues who, to be honest, Mr. Speaker, they sit with us already. So we shall guide them. We shall guide them as to how to send that communication to you. But at this moment, we are only working with the numbers we have. So I agree with you, Mr. Speaker. These committees we are forming today might change after the official communication to you. But what we are working with right now is approximately 3 quarters. Yes. So, for instance, Mr. Speaker, we have 17 members for the Committee of Selection. Mr. Speaker, we are saying that our understanding is that you are part of the 17. If that is the case, then NDC or our caucus would have 11 members. And then, yes, 11 members. That is if you were to add you. If you are not part of it, Mr. Speaker, then we will be 12. But
I'm not part of your caucus.
Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll give you names of 12 members from our side, and they will give us 5 members. 5 members. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, we are not debating the statistics. We've worked it out already. The only thing I said was that if Mr. Speaker is part of the 17, then we have 11. If it's not, then we have 12. It's as simple as that. So, Mr. Speaker, if it pleases you.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, take it completely out of your mind. Mr. Speaker is not a member of Parliament. Your caucus is made up of members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker is the Speaker. Mr. Speaker is not a Deputy Speaker. There is vast difference. So I cannot be a member of your caucus, even though as a party, I'm a member of your party. But when I come to a performance of my functions here, it is clearly cut out for me, and I know what to do. We agreed that the Speaker is not part of the 17. The 17 is for the members of Parliament. And we agreed, and you submitted your list, and the minority submitted their list. That is the specific names. So we have that already. And that is what we are going by, unless you people have changed your positions. So please, you may continue. You haven't finished. Please let him conclude.
Just to draw his attention that if, I think earlier on we were all based on fact information that was before us, we came out with a certain ratio. However, Speaker, granted that all the independent members are given to your side. Speaker, if you do the arithmetic, our side will come up to some 32%. So the numbers that we used earlier, there's a bit of error in it. Speaker, I will seek your indulgence. If you may indulge us, the two of us, we will have to look at the report. The clerk has generated a report.
Honorable members, this process is step by step. We haven't reached where you are now. I have not received any such communication to me. He has informed us that the communication is to the leaders of the majority caucus. You came to me with a formula and you composed the committee of selection. That is what I'm going by. Until I receive official communication from them individually, not collectively, individually, because they will be held responsible. It will be put on the records. So nobody is going to do it for and on their behalf. They have to communicate individually to the Speaker. And you know, in the case of my second Deputy Speaker, he did that in the 8th Parliament. And it was read to members here. So please, let's follow that. Now we are going to compose committee of selection. Let's do that now.
Mr. Speaker, you're very right. I just cross-checked from the committee of selection we had the last time. 17 excluded you. It's excluded you. So, Mr. Speaker, if it pleases you, I'll go ahead and mention the names of the proposed colleagues that will form this committee. And once that is done, and then you are the chair, we go to the meeting, then we can come back with the appropriate one that colleagues will now approve. Mr. Speaker, with us, we have the Majority Leader, Honorable Atoba Forson, as a member. Myself, Honorable Kwame Abuja, Honorable Comfort Doyo, Honorable Ebenezer Oklete Telabi, Honorable Isaac Asha Odampton, Honorable Emmanuel Kwejo Ajekum, Honorable Clement Abbas Apak, Honorable Shaibu Mahama, Honorable Grace Ayensu Dankwa, Honorable Rachel Ouswa, Honorable Richard Kuri, and then Honorable Jean-Marie Pomadi, making it 12 members. Mr. Speaker, those are the names from our side.
Yes, please.
Speaker, on our side, we have these names as proposed. We have the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. We have the Honorable Patricia Appieh, the Deputy Leader. We have Arnaud Dompre. We have Honorable Alhaji Habib Idrisu and Honorable Asante Waten, 5 of us. Yes, 5. I thank you, Speaker.
Yes, please. Yes, Deputy Majority Leader.
Honourable Speaker, just to add that we confer with colleagues, as you have said, that when the independent members bring their letters to your attention, we'll work with them to agree on what the new percentage will be, and then we'll work with that, on that number, just to make sure that is noted for the record.
Honorable members, we have that covered under 205 Rule 3. It says the Committee of Selection may review the composition of committees where necessary and report to the House. So that is covered. May I now, with your indulgence, direct that the members so declared be adopted by the House as the membership of the Committee of Selection. Do I have that from members? Consensus. So decided by the House. Honorable members, I now direct that the Committee of Selection should immediately proceed to the conference hall of the Speaker for a meeting on the next item. And with that, I proceed to suspend sitting. And, sorry?
Mr. Speaker, may I humbly refer you to Standing Order 67-1. And in particular, 67 deals with the order of business. I realize you've gone through a lot today, but I just want to find out from you. I've seen my colleague from Bolga, Tanga East. He's been seated in the chamber the whole day. Boko has been in the chamber the whole day. A member from Banda. To find out from you, Mr. Speaker, 67-1L, whether you've received any communication from the President. Because I can see some itchiness on the members that I mentioned. And you've received some official communication, a green letter from the President's office. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Actually, I have not received any green letter from the office of the President. I have communication from His Excellency the President. That communication is not on a green paper, but I decide, if you read the orders properly, when no green letter, when to communicate such information to the House. That lies in the bosom of the Speaker, and that is permitted by the standing orders. What we're doing is to try to get things in order so that we can now strictly follow what is stated in Standing Order 67-1. So please, I proceed to suspend sitting. When we come back, you can continue with your, or there's no motive here.
Mr. Speaker, I think that the Honorable Patrick Boama is impugning improper motives to you. Mr. Speaker, he's making the assumption that you have the ability to hold letters that are sent to you from the presidency. Mr. Speaker, and I think that you have demonstrated enough credibility and integrity for an old member of this House to suggest that when you have letters from the presidency, you will not share it until you are asked by a member of this House. He must show remorse and apologize to you for such a suggestion. Thank you.
Actually, the last time I heard the word hoard was during the revolution. This is the second time I'm hearing it. Please, may we suspend? Yes, I'm here proceeding to suspend in consultation with members 1 hour suspension of the House will be sufficient for us to do our work and to report back to you. Is that accepted? Members, is that accepted? Honorable members, the House is accordingly suspended for 1 hour.